Hi guys, so today we're going to be painting a beautiful fluid and abstract butterfly using inks. I went to a really magical exhibition at the National History Museum in London, just a garden full of butterflies from everywhere, and I got so much inspiration, especially for color, from these magical creatures. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to be using Canson watercolor paper in cold press, and this is 300 GSM for the weight, so it's quite thick so it doesn't wrinkle when you put the water down. I'm using a wet to wet technique where I wet the paper first and I allow the ink or the watercolor to just flow within the water how it wants to go. So as you can see, I've already drawn the butterfly out really lightly and without a lot of detail, because we're going to kind of freestyle the patterns inside of the butterfly. Okay, so I've wet one of the wings of the butterfly and I'm taking a small Japanese brush and I'm pretty much starting from the outside of the wing, sweeping the brush towards the inside. So you can see that the brush strokes on the outside are thicker, and then as it goes towards the inside, it's getting a little bit thinner, these thin small lines. And what I want to do is I want to do the same thing on the other side. Of course, with inks and watercolors, you never know what you're going to get. It's not going to be the same every time. So each side will look a little different, but we're just going to try to get it as equal as possible. So you can see that these brush strokes are already just a little bit thicker. Sometimes you have to try to use the same amount of ink that you used on one side for the other side. But like I said, it's okay. I actually like when inks and watercolors just pretty much take on a life of its own without us trying to control it. Okay, so I've taken another brush, the same type of brush, and I'm just going to do a few brush strokes on the outside of those red strokes with black ink. And for the red color, I've used crimson and red in an ink called Watercolor, and I will leave all of the inks that I use as well as links where you can find them in the description box. Okay, so when ink kind of decides that it doesn't want to flow like the red ink does, as you can see, I've just taken a little bit of water to try to help out the black and the red mix. Alright, so I'm starting with the bottom of the butterfly now, which I'm going to pretty much make it a blue base. So I'm using an ink by Dr. P.H. Martin in marine blue. And as you can see, it's flowing really beautifully and only in the area that I want it to. And then we're going to just liven it up with more red ink. And guys, I took probably over 100 pictures from this exhibition. So if you want me to just maybe pick out a specific butterfly, especially one that you saw in the beginning of this video, and show you how my interpretation of how I would paint it, just let me know in the description box and I will work on that. Okay, so you can already see that it's pretty much coming together really fluid and kind of looks effortless. I've put a little bit of water in the middle and applied black ink just for like the body of the butterfly. And this black ink is just going to spread into the wings, which I absolutely love. So I'm taking the point of the brush just to make a really sharp tip. And then I picked up this iridescent ink from Dr. P.H. Martin's. And it has it's a copper color, so it's supposed to be sort of glittery. I found that the glitter really settles at the bottom, or the metallic rather color really settles at the bottom. So I just dipped my brush straight into the jar so I could get that metallic color off the bottom, and I've just put it at the bottom wings of the butterfly. Okay, so we could leave it like this. I'm just going to add a few more lines on the outside of the butterfly for a little more detail. You can also let the ink dry, and you can take like a sharp pointed marker or a color pencil and add more detail with that. But if you guys have ever seen any of my videos, you know that I don't like to overdo it. So I'm just going to add a few lines using the very pointed tip of my brush to add a little more detail to bring this butterfly to life. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take white gouache paint, and I've literally put just maybe like not even a dime size amount of white gouache paint onto my palette, and I'm just dipping it in and pretty much just doing the same thing that I did when I was adding detail with the ink. Sometimes the inks take control of the painting, so I always feel like it's nice to just have like a little negative white space, and if the inks overpowered it and merged together too much, white gouache paint is the way to go to add more negative space in. Okay, so I'm just taking an eraser and I'm erasing any kind of sharp pencil marks, and that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe below and like this video, and also in the description box I've left a link that you can join to be a part of my newsletter. So I'll be sending out tutorials and also a way that you can join my new watercolor course. All right, I will see you guys next week. Ciao.